Do you know what a hell of eternal doom is like? She was originally from a family of pedigree. The Marquis' eldest daughter of the first wife, yet she endured much abuse. Living her days fighting dogs over food, beaten harshly with 2 deficient legs, all her hopes were dashed to pieces. While she was the daughter of an important political leader in her past life, yet still tragically died from betrayal, she transmigrated carrying hatred. She crawled back from the depths of hell, fighting a hussy snatching the husband. Divorcing then remarrying a eunuch, a useless young miss who has never been favor becomes a eunuch's consort. Dominating the world, watch and see what tricks she will play. Helping her eunuch highness do evil, going on a wild rampage. A young girl named Mo, cries as her clothes is torn off. She tells her brother to stop, he slaps her for defying him. He proudly states he will steal her V-card today, while drooling like a dog. Suddenly he is hit in the head with a glass vase, he falls on the bed. Bleeding intensely, the perpetrator breathes heavily. The eldest daughter states in a shaking voice, "By May, you killed second brother." The voices of men alerted them the rooms are being searched. Bai Mei opens the window and tells her to go to her room and pretend nothing happened. Mo asked what about her, she replied the eldest daughter has treated the maid like her own sister. This is her way of repaying her kindness, as they separate their heartaches. Bai Mei reminds her, she's the daughter of the Phoenix Wing General and shouldn't let anyone push her around. The men barge in, they grab the maid and went to get the eldest young miss from her room. Meanwhile the eldest young miss crouch at the window. Moments later Bai Mei is beaten in front of the princess and second Madame Han. Bai Mei exclaims she didn't harm the second master intentionally. Lady Han flings a cup at her, but Lady Mo blocked it. With her face, her forehead bleeds, she begs her to let Bai Mei go. Lady Han smiles coldly and exclaims the maid hurt the family. Yet she defends her, since she wants to protect the maid. Lady Han ordered them both to be beaten. Mo holds Bai Mei tightly, Bai Mei tells her to leave. Lady Han orders the servants to pull Mo away and send the maid to the brothel. Lady Han states she's stubborn even after getting her legs broken. Let her watch the punishment. She reached for Bai Mei has hands of servants drag her half-dead body away. She lost so many of her possessions, and all she has remaining is nothing. In the midst of rain, she calls upon her mother, yelling if she doesn't come out, Mo life will end. The door opens in slow motion, there's hope, right? Her mother tells her to return as she is only a nun who is an outsider and won't meddle in particular affairs. She then tells her daughter not to come to her anymore. Mo asked why she has been so indifferent towards her, letting her suffer humiliation and bullying, so why did she give birth and let her live? The mother responded it would have been better if Mo had never been born. She slams the door in her face. Lady Mo remembers the time she had to fight a dog for food. The times when she was beaten by her brother. Lady Mo makes her way to where Bai Mei is being held only to witness her torment and hear her screams. Moments later her lifeless body is dragged out after being used. She laughs as if she's mad. She asked herself why should she live? She just wants to die. Meanwhile in the modern world at a mansion, a horde of lifeless corpses stain the mansion. A girl screams to her father asking why he did this. After she did everything, her father points a gun at her head and says her death is more useful to him. Lady Mo's eyes opens. She wonders where she is, then suddenly memories of Lady Mo floods her mind. After seeing her memories, she understood they are the same, but abandoned by the ones close to them. They've both been trampled by them. So they will crawl out of the pits of hell, and take revenge on them every step of the way. 3 months later 2 maids Lu Chao and Zi Lan are squabbling. Zilan accuses Lu Chao of stealing her fragrant green snow rouge. Lu Chao says she took it from the Mo girl, and threatened to cut Zilan tongue out for lying. Zilang Xian, daughter of the official wife and Duan County princess, interrupts their squabble and inquires why they're arguing. The two greet her. Zilan shows her the item and says she specially ordered it and it went missing a few days ago. Zilang's servant mocks the strange color of the rogue and the girls for using it. Lu Chao explains that it was made by the Mo girl and it leaves the skin bright and smooth, but not too pale. Zilang's smile shifts to annoyance. Chao worries for her own safety. Since Zilang hates the Mo girl, Zilang smiles and exclaims, since she can make rogue, her legs must be healed, so she'll pay Mo a visit. A maid warns Mo that the county princess is on her way. Mo tells her not to panic. Only 2 maids are left to serve Mo, and the maid Bai Rui has noticed her change and the frightening feeling she gives off. Mo has been waiting for Zilang to come. If she didn't come, Mo's show would never begin. Zilang exclaims, looks like Mo's legs are healed. Unfortunately, their brother managed to live and is currently unconscious. Mo thanks her for the concern, and informs her she can't get out of bed, but can only stay in the courtyard and make rogue from plants to pass the time. The original host was the daughter of Lady Lan, wife to the Lord of State. That should have given her the identity of the first wife, eldest daughter. However, that year Lady Lan disguised as a man to join the army, causing a commotion in the town, with the support of Grand General Lan and the Emperor. She married into the Zilang family. After Grand General Lan died, the Lan clan fell. Lady Lan closed herself off in seclusion for decades, fasting and praying, showing no concern to the former host. Lady Han was also arranged by the imperial family and given the title of Lady of Second Rank. From then on, everyone only knew Lady Han. The title of the original host as daughter of first wife was erased to Lady Lan's daughter. The two interests were piqued after noticing the different shades of rogue. They ask if it can be used on the face. Lady Mo exclaims it's difficult to explain, so she asked for permission to give the maid a makeover. Lady Mo state it can be washed off with water, if she doesn't like it. The maid glance at the princess, who agrees to let her be a lab rat. The servants thinks if she does anything she'll get revenge on the spot. The maid takes a seat and Lady Mo approach her with the items. She skillfully apply the rogue. When she was finished, even the princess was shocked, thinking that not even the palace ladies could compare. Lady Mo disguised an insults as compliment, saying she was bland but elegant. However, she could be a concubine with the rogue. Zilang hatred and jealousy was boiling over. She exclaims the rogue will cause problems with the servants. Lady Mo says the rogu isn't valuable, but was made with fresh flowers that was picked yesterday. Lady Mo offers Zilang the rogue and tells her to give it to her most competent servant. Zilang thinks it's rare for Mo to behave, so she won't be punished. For what you asked, breathing. After Zilang left, Lady Mo's body became unstable. The maid assists her and warns if she stands for long periods she may lose the ability to walk. The fourth Miss Zilang Dan is Zilang Xian younger sister. They share the same mother, however she isn't as scheming as the other two. Just a shameless fool, she's perfect for Lady Mo to deal with first. 3 days later, a servant yells threateningly. Lady Mo smiles. She's been expecting them. Lady Mo asked what's wrong. The servant of the fourth princess accuses her of feigning ignorance. The rogue she gave to the county princess made the fourth princess sick. To make it worse, they're having marriage discussions. Lady Mo explains the rogue was given to the fourth princess to reward her servants. Why would the fourth princess use them? The maid thinks that the half-servant Mo is daring to defy her, and says she's shrieking the responsibility. Lady Mo exclaims she's the master of a bunch of lowly servants and they have no right to touch her. The maid attempts to strike her with a bat with the intention of beating her to death. A maid grabs her, exclaiming what she's trying to do to their miss. The aunts asked if they're rebelling. Second Madame Yushin arrived faster than Lady Mo predicted. The maid believe the madam will break Lady Mo legs for good. Madame Yushin slaps her for spouting nonsense when she has offended her superiors. Lady Han asked for forgiveness saying their servants lack discipline. Madame Yushin exclaims a servant can treat her master so violently, she looks at Mo's pitiful state, and exclaims it's eye-opening. Lady Han realized if Madame Yushin informs the emperor, her husband would be regarded as indisciplined. A servant exclaims it's because the fourth princess is soft with her servants that servants like Chen Yu are made. The maid knows the matter is urgent and she can't let Madame Yushin get a hold of Lady Han. Lady Han ordered the servants to drag her outside and beat her to death. The maid tears up, and pleas for forgiveness. Lady Han tells her she can't help. Since she offended Lady Mo, the maid exclaims forgive me. She has a sickly mother and siblings to feed, so she claims. Seeing that the servant wants to drag her down, however if she doesn't help her reputation will be ruined. So she does the next best thing, puts on a pitiful performance that deserves an Oscar, causing Lady Han to order the servants to drag and gag the maid. Lady Han is embarrassed by the situation. The maid thinks she doesn't want to die, and wonder how it happened. By the time she realized it was planned by Mo it was too late. Madame Yushin praised Mo's appearance and says her mother will find a good match. After analyzing the situation Madame Han knew Lady Han was unkind and unjust. It's very hateful. Her dedication to Buddha, Mo thanks Lady Han, which further ruin her reputation. Since she doesn't call her mom, Lady Han lightly touched Mo's hand and tells her to go to her sister. Lady Han thinks she's caused so much trouble, so she'll beat her till she can't get out of bed tomorrow. When Mo entered the fragrant snow pavilion, she was immediately attacked by Zilang Dan with a cup. She barely dodged. Zilang Dan express her hatred for Chen Yu's death and her face. She plans to whip Mo to death. Lady Mo denies harming her. She explains she had read recipes in a book and made the product as for Chen Yu. Madame Yushin said she wasn't following the rules. Zilang Dan asked about the recipes. If she has tested it, Lady Mo replied her face was damaged by using wrong products. But she has made a product that will cure her bad skin. Zilang Dan pokes Mo with the whip. She threatened to damage her face if she failed. Although Zilang Dan is arrogant, once she uses the product her life will be more exciting. The next day everyone praised the Zilang Dan for her beauty. But it was really thanks to Lady Mo's skill. Zilang Dan tells her she is forgiven, then order her to pour out the chamber pot in the bathing chamber. Lady Mo states her makeup isn't finished, so she can't possibly clean the toilet. She then asked Shuang to do it, stating it's an honor to serve Zilang Dan. Shuang infuriated and asked who she is to order her. Zilang Dan asked if working for her is an insult. Lady Mo is still working for her. She can't allow her hands to be stained with urine. Shuang changes her tone and says it's an honor. She returns with a bucket. She thinks if it wasn't for the marriage meeting, she wouldn't be forced not to disrespect Zilang Dan. Someone steps on her robe, causing her to trip. It was as if the world became slow.
Oh my God!
Everyone was shocked seeing the princess drenched in urine. Lady Mo accused Shuang of deliberately splashing the fourth princess with urine. Zilang Dan strikes Shuang with the whip. Shuang cries, covering her face, trying to lessen the blow. The maid pulls them apart, reminding her she must change immediately. Zilang Dan enters the marriage discussions. She's still upset about almost being late and undergoing such embarrassment. Her eldest sister thugs at her robe, and points out the youngest prince of the DIS residence. They call it Zilang marriage meeting, but the main attraction is Danner. Zilang spots the youngest prince, praised by the emperor to be young and dazzling. Prince de Si Lufeng, he turns as head. Zilang blushes. Madame Yushin inquire why there's only 4 ladies there. When 5 ladies are at marriage age, Madame Yushin reads Han mind and exclaims, "Don't tell me, she's sick." Lady Han wondered why Yushin had a problem with her. The head of the house ordered them to get Mo. He doesn't want rumors over such little things. Prince Ninghao informs Lu Feng that the eldest princess is uneducated. All manner with plain looks, at least that what he's heard. The prince responds to not always listen to all rumors. Upon the arrival of the eldest daughter, Madame Ninghao comments she's skinny. Lady Han thinks Ninghao is trying to mock her and stir up trouble. Lady Han claims she's a picky eater. Luckily Aunt Ma had prepared her with clothes in advance. Ninghao inquires about what she reads. She responds she doesn't read much, same as her sisters, who learn women rules, training and lessons. Lady Ninghao states she's sensible, highly educated and gentle, unlike some self-proclaimed talent, who does not possess half of a woman's behavior. Ninghao smirks. Madame Han is aware she and Shenner have been disrespected. Shuang announce Mo as talented, then asked if she cleaned Zilang Dan's room and also states she better not allow the stench of urine to affect her. Her father exclaims in a stern voice Shuanger, causing her to become startled. Mo original thought Zilang Dan was dumb, but Shuang is far more stupid. Mo saves the day by exclaiming Zilang Dan was sick and she was taking care of her. She was humble and her etiquette was divine, she impressed everyone, destroying the rumors of her bad etiquette, and also gaining the wrath of Shenner. Shenner calls out to her sister calling her clever. Lady Mo responds she was only telling stories to look smart. Shenner was annoyed, but told Mo to serve Zilang Dan. If she wants to marry into a good family, Shenner thinks she overestimated Mo. If she was too intelligent she had to be disposed of. The maid exclaims Mo's the eldest daughter of the first wife, so her sisters shouldn't have such power. Mo explains she's been removed from the records, so she's no longer the first wife daughter. Also, if she married into the prince's family, there's no chance of living a peaceful life, because of the amount of concubines. She would rather marry into a normal family and live a peaceful life. She then explains she doesn't want the prince, since he could be rotten inside. The youngest prince was surprised to know Mo could trick the county princess who is known for her intelligence. Mo glances behind her and noticed the prince. She wondered how Zilang Dan would react if her prince was interested in another woman. The head of the house discuss Mo marrying Prince Ninghao. Madame Han explained Mo legs are scarred and would be unfavored. It's better she married a rich commoner, he doesn't care how Mo is treated. But as the eldest, she must marry into a family of good status. He ordered Han to give Mo more clothes to avoid gossip. Madame Han smiles with a sinister grin. Afterwards Madame Han summoned Mo. Madame Min immediately praises Mo for her beauty. Madame Han informs Mo, Min is the best matchmaker, who came to plan her marriage. Mo is shocked. Madame Min tells her not to worry, since Marquis Yu is at his prime at 48. His legal wife passed away and she's younger than all his concubines. Also she will be his legal wife. Lady Mo felt lightheaded. She asked if her marriage had been finalized. Han responds it has. She asked if she's dissatisfied. Mo exclaims she wouldn't dare. Meanwhile the head of the family is discussing important matters. which have fell through because of Jushiensius, all accounts must pass through him. Before they're considered, he's only an eunuch causing the head to look down on him. Suddenly the head unsheathed his sword and points it at Mo, who drops cookies from the shock. Mo fell to her knees and asked for forgiveness. The head wonders when their residence became so poor that they can't feed a young girl. He had warned Madame Han, but his words went on deaf ears. Mo exclaims Granny Bai is sick, and her monthly allowance can only buy medicine. She cries and exclaims she'll never do it again. The head tells her he'll increase her allowance. Furthermore, she looks pale, and should take care of herself. Since she's going to get married, Mo thanks him, and says if he wants her to marry Marquis Yu, she'll do it. The head was shocked when he heard Marquis Yu's name. To think Madame Han would choose such a person, he wonders what the public would think. He then decides to agree with whatever Madame Han wants to do, confirming Mo's thoughts of him being a cheapskate father. A maid informs Mo. The head argue with Madame Han. She cried and he left for concubine Lu's place. Mo sits and smiles. She exclaims she hasn't started crying yet. The maid states the head doesn't plan to intervene. It's obvious they can't count on the head. She orders her maid to go to Huang Yu, who is going to be sent to marry, and accidentally disclose information. Later Shuang is informed that cousin Han is interested in Mo. Shuang is furious, since Madame Han had promised him to her. Huang Yu thinks Shuang is dumb, since her cousin Han is out of her league and Madame Han wouldn't fulfill that promise. A maid tells her, she heard the rumor, but didn't inform her since she would be hurt. Shang slaps her, calling her useless. The maid cover her cheeks defenselessly, her eyes was lifeless. Shang believes Mo was acting strange at the banquet to seduce him. Huang suggests a plan explaining Marquis Yu and cousin will be at the gathering. Stating it's an opportunity, Shang states if Mo fools around before marriage, she can only be a concubine. She orders Huang to send a letter to her cousin. The next day a maid informs Mo. Cousin Han has invited her to the bamboo grove. Mo asked why must they meet privately. The maid says it's related to both of their futures. She leaves to meet him, causing Shuang to disrespect her. Huang reveals that at the bamboo grove, Marquis Yu is waiting to spend the night. Huang urges Shuang to go and meet cousin Han at the Aqua Wave Pavilion. Shuang tells her to bring the madam and her sisters later. If they see their affection there will be no objections. Huang assures her with a beautiful smile, at the Aqua Wave Pavilion. Shuang enters a hut. At a shocking turns of events her cousin is an old man. She blushes at his touch. He plays with her. She reminds him etiquette must not be forgotten. He licks her salty neck. She's in bliss. The old guy thinks she's a young girl at heart, who enjoys playing cousins. The curtains slide open, and lanterns light up the room. Shuang sees clearly and steps back, exclaiming where's her cousin? Madame Han orders the servants to take away the shameless girl. Shuang states it's not what it looks like. She is apprehended by the servants. Her cousin and Mo arrive together. She pounces at Mo full of jealousy. Cousin catches her and throws her off. He protects Mo, and states although she is his younger cousin, he won't allow her to slander him. He explains he had found Mo with a sprained leg at the bamboo grove. The head confirms his words. He explains Mo had sent someone to notify them, but oddly she wasn't guarded. He turns around, and invites Marquis Yu to the lobby. He orders the third miss to be locked up and prepared for marriage. Shuang is shocked to her core. Madame Han states if anyone talk about what happened they will be beaten to death and sold. Cousin Han inquire if her foot was okay. Lady Mo thanks her for not telling the madam she was the one who invited him. She starts to cry and states she wanted to talk to him, to convince Madame Han to stop the marriage between her and Marquis Yu. He holds her and says he'll talk to the madam. Mo talks about how everything went as planned with her maid. It is revealed Huang Yu cooperated with them and switched the letters. She got jealous of Huang Yu. Because her cousin Han Wei complimented her, Shang disregarded master and servant relations. Planning to marry Huang to the second housekeeper disabled son. And Huang grew to hate her. Suddenly Hong Jin revealed herself. She exclaims she was ordered to tail them by the county princess. And knows everything. Mo was careless and was unaware Shenner would be suspicious. Lady Mo offers her money to keep quiet. Hong Jin was excited. She planned to take the money and reveal everything to the county princess. Mo smiles sinisterly then throws the money in the ocean. Hong Jin tried to catch it, but was kicked in the ocean by Mo. Mo jumped on top of her, then tried to submerge her underwater. Hong Jin struggled and Mo called her maid for help. They both held her down. Until she stopped moving, the maid's hand was shaking from what she did. Ignoring her trauma, Mo grabs her hand and runs. On top of a building, a white hair man, with a lot of makeup, exclaims Mo is an interesting woman. His servant states if he likes her, he'll send someone to fetch her. Since the other one died, he tells him later, and kissed the pouch of money she left behind. Meanwhile, Madame Han is laying down the law. Wire gets on his knees begging to know why he can't marry Mo. She wanted him to make Shang his concubine. But after what happened, his father wouldn't allow it. Madame Han berates him, saying if it wasn't for her sister's constant support and her planning step by step, the Han family wouldn't be where it is today. Wire cries, stating after his mother's death he sees her as his own mother. But he's confused, her eyes soften. She tells him not to mention the matter again. Also, Mo can marry anyone, but she and his father will decide his marriage. Wire feels disheartened, asking himself if he's not fated to be with Mo. In the night, a fog-like gas entered Mo's room. Someone touches her cheeks. Mo's mind is awake, but her body can't move. The man thinks she's vigilant. He crawls over her. Mo braces herself. Last time Mo was able to trick her evil sister into humiliating herself. However, her hand have now been stained in blood. At this moment, a white hair man crawl over her. His hand slipped into the sheet. Mo gets angry, however she's quivering for some unknown reason. He licks her ear, and puts his wet finger in her mouth. She bites it. He's shocked and withdraws his fingers. The guy states there are many days ahead, she better not bore him. Mo wakes up and shouts. A maid enters asking if she had a nightmare. Mo wondered if it was a dream, but it felt very real. Bai Rui is worried, but she tells her it's nothing. They need to greet the Lord and cannot be late. Bai Rui informs her. Han Wei was scolded after talking about her marriage. Mo expected this. Han Wei is kind, but Mo can only be a concubine. Han Wei will be pressured to not treat her nicely. He wasn't a good match for Mo anyway. Bai Rui inquire and why she's been meeting Jing. He only cancelled her marriage to the Marquis because of Shang disgracing herself. Mo looks at her seriously and warns her not to say such things in the future. They just need to be grateful in front of the Jing. Servant greets her. Mo states the weather is hot, so she brought iced jasmine and mint syrup for her father Jing to cool internal heat. The servant informs him people from Princeton are discussing matters inside. Suddenly someone exclaims that the people were sent to get Mo's age card. Mo is shocked. The servant reveals the prince saw her at the banquet and praise her for being virtuous and elegant. He believes she's perfect for a concubine. He shows them an invitation for the empress's lotus viewing banquet for Mo. He states he'll give it to Mo, and as for the marriage, he still needs to think about it. Mo had no intention of seducing him, but he's surprisingly straightforward. Or he's doing it to teach her a lesson for looking down on him. Now that she's in an unfavorable situation, this so-called good news must be stopped. Mo gets on her knees and says she doesn't and cannot marry into the residence. Her father says marriages are chosen by the parents. She exclaims he's right, but marriage talk is happening between Si Lufeng and Dan. She cannot fight sister Dan for favor as the eldest sister. Also, if they both get high positions as wife and head of concubines, rumors will spread that he's trying to raise through the residences. Jing holds her and says it must have been hard to think so far with her level of knowledge. He assures her, he'll sort everything out. Grandma exclaims she's sick and has been enclosed inside for a long time, but didn't expect Mo to be so sensible. The grandma explains if she goes Dan would have to be lenient. And it would be better for her there. Her grandma has been tricked by the words of Madame Han. Believing she's scheming and immodest, the original host had a difficult life. But she only thought of Zilang Dan. She's no longer the soft girl they once knew. With tearful eyes, she announced she would rather die to show her commitment. Everyone is shocked by her resolve. Mo is trembling. She states she knows her place and is tired of being trampled on. Since she knows she will fight endlessly, what's the point of belittling herself and be trampled on for the rest of her life? She begs them to let her have an ordinary marriage. She doesn't seek a rapid promotion, but a wholehearted marriage, happy and peaceful. Grandma says she's a kind child and she'll find her a good marriage partner. Suddenly Zilang Dan arrive with a whip to beat Mo for seducing her cousin and Si Lufeng. Jing scold her for her unsightly behavior. Zilang Dan is furious and annoyed. She prepares to strike Mo with the whip. Mo shield Grandma and takes the hit. Mo's back is wounded. She tells her worried grandma she's okay. She cries, stating she was rebellious and unfilial, causing her sister to misunderstand. She pleads for forgiveness. Grandma comforts her, that was a good whipping. Mo had thought it would take a while to get on Grandma's good side. But Zilang Dan became her stepping stone. Her father orders Dan to be detained and forced to kneel. She didn't even consider Grandma's safety, thinks Jing. Zilang Dan says she didn't mean to hurt Grandma and it's all Mo's fault. Grandma has had enough. She states Mo will receive the same good treatment as Zilang Dan. She orders them to send the head maid Jing to serve Mo. Also, Dan is too rebellious and must cultivate her morals. The next day Dan complains to her mother. She had kneel for a whole night and her knees are sore. Madame Han exclaims if she had knew Mo would cause trouble she would have sent her far away. Shenner questioned when she had changed and has become difficult to handle. She reveals after she sent Hong Jin to tail her, she never returned and her body was found in the river today. Their father wouldn't want unwanted publicity because of a maid, so the matter can only be left unsettled. Madame Han states she's the same as her mother, seducing people left and right. Only reason Mo is alive is so she can suffer in her mother's place. Madame Han assures Dan she was able to make Mo's mother suffer until her last breath, unable to see anyone. The day of the lotus viewing banquet, Ban Rui express her surprise that Madame Han did nothing to stop Mo from entering the palace. Or maybe it's because the old madam is good to her. Mo asked if she doesn't know the reason why she's good to her nowadays. She is using her to train Zileng Dan and how to control her temper. She pities her because she was reminded of how she was almost beaten by the younger generation because she's old. She only sent Jinyu and the other maids to monitor her. Suddenly the carriage became unstable, causing Mo to fall out of the carriage. A horse is about to trample her, but then it loses its head. A mysterious man with white hair saved her. He chuckles and points the sword at her chin. Mo thanks him and states she'll return the favor. Lu Feng dashes towards her. She acts fragile and scared. She thanks him for saving her. Lu Feng exclaims he'll take her to get treated. The white hair guy thinks she's changing her attitude fast and it's interesting. Lu Feng asked who he is to cover his face in broad daylight. The man rides away. Lu Feng calls him a lapdog of the eunuch directorate for ceremonial. They're known to be bloody and cruel, but it doesn't matter. Mo will repay the favor. Madame Han asked if she's okay. Madame Han exclaims which noble's son is she interested in, and asked why she rolled out of the carriage for no reason. Mo shouts she was wrong and won't dare do it again, and exclaims she shouldn't have been stubborn and come to the palace. She kneels down on all four and begs to be spared. Lu Feng grabs a whip, angered that Madame Han would do this to Mo in front of him and calling it an accident. He strikes the terrified servant, accusing him of tampering with the carriage. No matter how unfavored Mo is, he still plans to take her as his concubine. He also sent the invitation. He thinks Madame Han wants to humiliate him. He whips the coachman and the people think Madame Han put the coachman up to it. Zileng Dan says he's gone too far and she's just a dog. Madame Han stops her, exclaiming it's their affair, and they'll find out who's responsible for the servant. Lu Feng exclaims it seems Dan doesn't agree, at least Madame Han understood. Dan thought she was being criticized. Lu Feng announced the servant belongs to them and he'll leave it to her. He plans to make them know he's not someone they can mess with. Lu Feng helps her up and states Madame Han carriage is crowded, so she can go to his carriage and fix her outfit. Zileng Dan burns with jealousy. Inside the carriage, Mo thanks him for helping her. He states he heard she rejected his proposal and stated she would rather die than marry him. She looks at him pondering a response. She then states Lu Feng is a good person. She explains she doesn't want to sacrifice her life for an uncertain future. Lu Feng doesn't believe her empty words, but she clearly said her life was the most important. If not for his whim, Madame Han wouldn't have tried to get rid of her. He takes a petal from her hair, then put it at his lip, and exclaims she's a good person. She blushes looking deep into his eyes. They slowly close the distance, then Bai Rui interrupts. She informed her, they've arrived late and the last boat is about to depart. She then inquires and why they're both squished in the corner. Mo calls her an idiot in her mind, at the Aqua Rinis pond. Mo's way is blocked by Lu Wanner, Zileng Dan's best friend. She states the head eunuch had announced the boat is full, so she has to wait for another boat. Bai Rui exclaims it's the last boat and if they miss the time they'll be accused by the nobles. Dan exclaims that's none of their business. Mo bluntly asked if she's scared the prince will be interested in her. Since Dan is spoiled and foolish, Dan loses her temper and tries to slap Mo. But she dodged. Mo pushed her, getting the attention of the nobles. Mo held onto something and Dan screamed for help. The prince jumped in like a boss and saved Mo. He carries her like a princess, brings her to safety. She thanks him, he blushes. Dan curses Mo in a low voice. She fell in the river and yet he saved Mo and she could only be rescued by eunuchs. Lu Feng states everyone saw what happened. He thinks Dan is an idiot for publicly trying to harm her. The nobles exclaims it's clear she tried to push Mo, but used too much force and fell into the river. Dan's makeup is ruined and she looks terrible. She says they're be lied to and she was provoked. She removed a hairpin from her hair and tried to stab her. Suddenly someone grabs her hand, then slapped her. A servant states who would dare cause a commotion in front of Zhu Xianshu. He orders them to kneel. Everyone kneels except Lu Feng and states may he live for 1,000 years. Mo has heard rumors that Zhu Xianshu relies on the emperor's favor to rule the government, and that he has become a non-surname royal. All royalties younger than him must bear the humiliation and call him uncle. He's a eunuch, so even if he obtains 10,000 miles and rivers there will be no one to succeed him. He calls out his nephew who he hasn't seen in many days. He heard that he was engaged to Lord Jing of State's 2 daughters. He hopes they aren't ugly. Zilang Dan stutters had she introduced herself. Zilang Mo cuts her off and introduced herself. Mo is shocked to see the infamous Zhu Xianshu possessed such an alluring beauty. Zhu Xianshu states Lu Feng has unique taste. He exclaims Zilang Dan is ugly. Then Lu Feng apologized for being disrespectful. Lu Feng is upset that Dan embarrassed him in front of Zhu Xianshu. Zhu Xianshu is in a good mood. He offers to give Mo a tour around Rince Pond. The bystanders wonder if he's interested in Mo and states not many survive. Mo states she's worried about Dan, who may catch a cold. If she doesn't wash up, she asked to borrow Zhu Xianshu treasure ship. He summoned Xiao Lanzi. He asked if Dan wished to wash up. She answered yes. To Dan's shock he flings her in the river. Lanzi exclaims she's gotten so clean. Mo smiled menacingly pleased by his actions. Mo thanks Zhu Xianshu for helping her on the streets. He asked if she's scared. Him and Jing are political enemies. And for saving her, she used him to teach her sister a lesson. He grabs her waistband, then pulls her close and states he'll skin her hide. She exclaims of course she's scared, but she has to do it, because she has request and resentment. He asked about Si Lu Feng. She plans on marrying him. If he finds out they're working together he'll no longer have a use for her. Mo thinks his hand feels familiar. She noticed the bite mark and becomes petrified. He leans close to her ear and asks if she remember a dirty dream she had. She instantly backs away. He grabs her hand. He states he likes her, but doesn't like that she's headstrong. He licks her hand, then states she has a long way to go if she wants to please him. His patience has limits. She retracts her hand and thanks him for his guidance. Lanzi exclaims Mo is foolish and arrogant to dare use him. Zhu Xianshu says she looks meek and respectable, but the killing intent in her eyes is not hidden. She's Lang Lin's daughter, but she's nothing like her weak and selfish mother. However, she has made things interesting. Lanzi believes it's better to die than pique Zhu Xianshu interest. At the Royal Garden Island in the middle of the lake, Mo walks unsteady. Lu Feng holds her and asked if Zhu Xianshu did anything to her. She states the word of Zorro nothing happened. She pushes him away and states a man and woman shouldn't be so close. He tells her to go and rest. He believes Mo is trying to keep her distance, because she's afraid of causing another fatal disaster. The maid of Shenner stares at Mo with a furious expression. She splashes water on her. She drops on her knees apologizing. Mo knows it's an act put on by Madame Han. A servant helps her up, exclaiming Mo is kind and won't blame her. However, she needs to find a place for Mo to change. Mo asked if Xylan can represent her, since her tone is so arrogant. Xylan was shocked to make amends. She slapped herself in the face. No matter what, Xylan must lead Mo to the changing room or Madame Han won't forgive her. She exclaims Madame Han is worried, so she should change. Mo says she's one of Madame Han's most capable maids. And the next time she is rude in front of everyone, she won't be able to save her. When they arrive at the changing room, Xylan announces her stomach feels sick and she wants to use the bathroom. She quickly turned to leave. Mo strikes her pressure point at the back of her neck, knocking her out. Mo wondered what they're planning that they would put so much effort to drag her there. Mo lays her on the bed. A worried voice asked if she's sure no one is there. She responds he had Mingyue keeping the area secure. Mo closes the curtain and hides. Adulterers make out in the room. Mo decipher Madame Han wanted her to see their adultery. Only people of high status can have an affair there. She would never be able to leave alive. The woman begs Xian to slow down. Mo wonders who they are. Suddenly behind the curtain a voice screams in pain. Catching the attention of the adulterers, Xian opens the curtain and grabs Xylan by the neck and strangled her. Xian calls the woman useless for saying there was no one there. He tells her to clean the mess up. Mo thinks he's cruel and merciless. If they found Mo, she wouldn't even have a chance to struggle. Since Madame Han is trying to destroy Mo using every possible method, then she should be prepared. Hopefully this time she can bear it. Later Madame Han is informed of Xylan's death. The eunuch had stated she accidentally fell off the winding corridor and broke her neck on a mountain rock. However, no one has seen Mo. At that moment Mo arrives. Madame Han is mortified that Mo isn't dead yet. She exclaims she was worried something happened to her, since she was out for so long. Mo states her heart is moved. Madame Han looks at her with deadly intent. Mo says she will definitely repay her. Mo has received 2 great gifts from Madame Han, and it's her turn to pay her back. Mo plans to make her loving daughter fall from grace, losing the affection of others. Before the selection, each lady is going all out. Xylan Dan's performance is amazing. Xylan Xian has been performing in the manner for many days. It's now time for her performance. The emperor praises Xylan Dan's skills. Xylan Dan states her skills are small compared to Mo, who has been preparing for a long time and wants to dedicate it to him. Madame Han is worried this isn't the time to take revenge on Mo. If she appears discourteous in front of the emperor, the entire Xylan family will be implicated. The empire asked who is the eldest daughter. Mo stands up and announces she's dull and raised in a small room, so she only knows superficial cosmetics. If His Majesty doesn't find it unsightly, allowed her to disgrace herself to make him smile. He looks unimpressed and permits her. She orders Bai Rui to set up the painting platform. The nobles gossip if it's a talent to play with cosmetics in front of the emperor. Mo paints the front and back together, causing the nobles to think she doesn't understand the basic principle. The face of the painting is blurry and unclear. They place the artwork over a lady's body and press it down. The nobles are in shock. After it is removed, she transformed into a beauty. This is Mo's skill called painted skin. Mo wishes the emperor eternal clarity and that all wicked people will not escape as discerning eye. The emperor expresses his joy and states many painters have come, but she has made him the happiest. He tells her she deserves a reward. Zhu Xianshu asked how he plans to reward her. His voice scared the nobles. Zhu Xianshu suggested offering her the position of a lady of the county. Zhu Xianshu bows to the emperor, who states there's no need to bow. Madame Han states there's no need for a reward for such a strange talent. She will never allow Mo to surpass Shenner. Her sharp tongue seems righteous. But she dare to call Mo's talent strange. She exclaims Shenner has also prepared a show for him. Suddenly the sound of a horse and the jingling of bells are heard. Shenner dances on top a horse like a elegant swan. Her face startled the emperor. It's similar to Lanner. The empress is displeased that they imitated the woman the emperor had never forgotten for 10 years. Shenner performance exceeds the practicing in the mansion. But the higher she jumps, the more painful her fall will be. Suddenly the horse goes crazy, throwing Shenner off. It charges at the emperor. Mo throws her tablecloth over the horse and tells His Majesty to go. She plans to make the emperor anxious by getting trampled by the horse. But only slightly. Zhu Xianshu grabbed her hand and saved her. Mo is mad and thinks who told him to be so nosy. Zhu Xianshu asked if she wishes to thank him. Mo changes her expression and thanks him. He reluctantly accepts her unwilling thanks. The emperor shouts, "What is the meaning of this?" Shenner and Madame Han beg for forgiveness. In the case of Mo, if Zhu Xianshu hadn't saved her, it would be granting her wish. The tablecloth that covered the horse had soothing spices. So she had it under control and was attempting to get minimally injured. She created this play, but it was interrupted by Zhu Xianshu. However, he deliberately sabotaged her to make her flustered. Only then does he find it interesting. Mo apologizes in her sister's behalf. She asked to be punished in her place instead. The emperor is conflicted. It was clearly her sister's fault. Yet she is willing to take the blame. But the person who committed the crime and the person who saved him are from the same family. Should they be rewarded or punished? Zhu Xianshu suggests he punish and reward the one who deserves it. The emperor bestow her the title Commandery Princess Zhen Min. With 2,000 taels, 10 chests of jewelry, 3,335 hectares of fertile land as well as a manor. However, Shenner's behavior was unsophisticated and will be punished with 30 beatings. Shenner cries and begs His Majesty not to do it. Dan thinks of helping Shenner. But he's terrified of what would happen if she angers him. Madame Han jumps into action pleading for Shenner. If she gets beat publicly, she won't be able to show her face and may become crippled. The emperor exclaims, "Drag her out." Madame Han tries to pressure Mo to convince the emperor. The emperor exclaims, "Are you coercing us? Since they're both a pair of loving mother and filial daughter, they will take 15 beatings each." The emperor is escorted out. Mo then reminds Madame Han of the time she almost crippled her. Mo knows the pain of breaking a leg. Once Shenner punishment is finished, she'll never be able to dance again. She leans in close and states it's just a small payback. Mo is returning to her. Madame Han yells that her husband won't let her get away with it. There is no need for Mo to worry about Jing, because whoever wins is the one who is right. A servant of Zhu Xianshu's informs her. He invites her to have a chat. She is flattered and has no reason to refuse. Mo enters the room feeling uncomfortable. She is grabbed from behind by Zhu Xianshu. He throws her in the bed and inspects her opai. Mo is shocked and began to tremble. He drops melon seeds on her, asking if she wants any. She asked what he wants her to do. Zhu Xianshu then stated all her wants and desires. She wants no one to bully, humiliate or oppress her again. She wants her enemies to be scared witless, and have nothing else to live for. Zhu Xianshu exclaims he can help her. Mo inquire what he wanted. He gets up and states they'll talk about it when she's grasped Jing's estate. She grabs his hand and asked how does it feel. He states she is snowy and smooth. Also her skin quality is exquisite. She slowly brings his fingers to her lip. Then bites it. She states it's a polite gift far before. She states since he has promised to help her, she won't let him down. He praises her mouth, and states there will be no next time. Mo bows and states she believes he also doesn't want a next time. She leaves. Later on she is awaiting her at the gate. She is a second-grade servant sent by Zhu Xianshu to ensure her safety. Mo wonders if Zhu Xianshu has planted a spy. However, she wishes to see what kind of person he sent. After taking a few steps, all the servants have gathered with sticks. Madame Han walks towards her with unsteady feet. The people in the residence are not aware of her new title. Mo asked what she's trying to do. Madame Han had suppressed the imperial edict in order to teach her a lesson before its announced. If she is detained for disobeying the first wife, her status as commandery princess is meaningless. Madame Han accuses Mo of publicly seducing the Prince of De and involving them in her punishment, even if she broke her legs. Shave her head and sent her to the temple, no one would say she didn't deserve it. They gather around Mo. Madame Han orders them to beat her. Mo gets on her knees and asks why must they wrong her. She grabs a stick and states if she has wronged Shenner then she'll break her own legs. She swings it at her legs and stop midway at Jing's word to stop the nonsense. Mo smirks. The messenger enters and states they don't want to live if they dare attack the commandery princess. Everyone is surprised to learn that a girl like Mo could be a commandery princess. She and Bai Rui explains Mo saved the emperor and in the process saved the Jing residents' lives. Since Xian had injured him, Bai Rui cries, revealing Mo was thrown out of the carriage by the stableman and pushed into the river by Dan. Yet she still protected the family, and Madame Han dares to slander her. Mo exclaims that's enough. Uncle Li's third wife asked if she's crazy to lie to everyone in order to teach Mo a lesson. She states Mo was almost beaten to death by the servants, this is treason. Once Jing had heard of Mo being bestowed the title, he rushed back. But didn't expect this scene. Once the granny and the eunuch informs the emperor. There will be more trouble. Everyone who committed the crime is from Madame Han house. According to the law they will be put to death. The servants kneel and beg Madame Han to save them. She exclaims, who dares to harm my people? Like a cat she pounces on Jing. She exclaims he's being deceived by Mo. She tampered with Shenner's horse. Jing pushes her away, stating if she's sick to the point of confusion. She falls to the ground wondering why he's so cruel to her. Jing holds Mo, stating Madame Han is still terrified as a result did something stupid. She shouldn't dwell in it. Mo thinks he favored Madame Han a lot even in this situation. Mo exclaims he's right. She suggested Madame Li take over her duties. Since she's so sick, Madame Han exclaims she wants to take my power. Jing exclaims enough. Jing turns to leave and states everything will temporarily be taken over by Madame Li and anyone who dares to offend Mo will be executed. Madame Han coughs blood. While calling Mo vicious, she passes out and a sinister grin appears in Mo's face. Moments later everyone from Madame Han's house is being whipped. It will take all night to finish. The ground is stained with blood. Everyone except the ones who must serve the nanny must watch for an hour. This is a warning to them. Her sisters are terrified as Mo states from that moment on everyone in the mansion must learn some new rules.